folks. It's time to kick it old school. Yeah.
Rodg.
Herb.
I feel like I was way more excited. What? Are you wearing a new shirt?
Okay. For those who haven't heard Herb mention it 8,000 times already, Herb won our boring fantasy football league this year.
Boring.
The league that he was the commissioner of. Anyway, he won. So he's rubbed it in my face every single day since he won, which I did to him a couple years ago when I won. And he sent me this nice shirt that I received in the mail today. And it says some other stuff on it, but the camera's just not big enough to show it. So anyway, you guys get the gist.
I think it's because your big head is, no problem. I love you, Rodg.
Okay.
Just to be fair, Rodg would call me 3 years after he won fantasy football and go, hey, are you doing okay? And I'd be like, yeah, right. What's up? He goes, because I won fantasy football 3 years ago. So the shirt is totally justified.
Yeah.
All right. I am running late tonight, so I'm still loading up a couple of things, but I had to have a couple of things right. Well, I was going to bring on one of our guests, but I don't know if the black screen of death means he needs a minute, so we're going to bring on.
He's
now there's two of them. Because we have something for him. Plus, we also saved the best for last. No offense to this guest. But so our first guest, Rodg.
Drum roll.
Let's see. Where are his things?
Anytime today, Herb.
Was just named the best dressed fan of 2024-2025. So it's got a lot of style.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be an honorary captain at the game next Monday.
Okay.
And he is somehow best friends with Marcus Freeman and Morgan Freeman.
I saw that one coming.
You knew that was coming? Okay. Sorry. Had to be that. Okay. Shane. Is this really Shane? I feel like there's a clone Shane and there's a real Shane. So which one are you? Oh, can't hear you. Clone Shane has the other stuff. That's why. So, Rodg, how are you doing today? Nice shirt.
I'm doing fantastic.
Maybe you can be second. Maybe you could be second best dressed fan. Well, you know what? We've got two things for Shane real quick while we're waiting for him to get connected. We got two things we can show him real quick.
We're going to the Natty, baby.
And this one is the edited version.
What's up? National championship. Let's go. Rolling Rock. You know how we do it. We love the green. Green cans, green jerseys, green hats. Notre Dame national championship game. I don't even care who we play. You best bring your A game. You best bring your A game. Go Irish, beat whoever we're going to play, because who cares? Go Irish.
He sent us another video first, and that was the edited version. We had to have the version Mom could actually watch.
You could tell in that video Mike wanted to say more, but he just kept pausing. He was like, bring your A game.
Yeah. So, and both of those are Mike's, actually, by the way.
Yes.
So, both Mike's, both Notre Dame fans, both have been on in previous weeks. So, that's why we played those videos. We had them send something out to us. Shane looks like he's still working on, so we're going to bring on the other guest, Rodg.
All right, drum roll.
Yeah. Defensive coordinator Jim Knowles says he just doesn't want to disappoint her in this game. That's how he approaches this game.
I can understand.
Right. This one's going to hurt you, Rodg. She's the one that actually recruited Caleb Downs to Ohio State. Not even because they needed him, just because she wanted to stick it to Alabama fans.
And we still have her on the show. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're equal opportunity up. And Ohio State wins the Natty, the trophy goes home with her.
Awesome.
Welcome to the stage, Heather. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. All of what you said is true. I have a curio cabinet right here for the title. Yeah. So it's primed. It's ready.
There you go.
Awesome.
All of what you said is true.
Let's see if Shane is ready to join us. Shane, are you good?
Do we hear me now?
Yeah,
We
got you.
We hear you now. Yes,
Wonderful. I was hoping Marcus Freeman was going to help me out, or if I had to go, to the one and only Freeman, that was going to help me be able to get everything else that I needed done. Whatever, just a complete imbroglio for me, just to have everything trying to happen all at once here.
Yes.
I wonder if Marcus and Morgan are having a drink together right now, just talking about the good old days.
I mean, I would listen to Morgan talk about whatever he wanted. If Notre Dame is listening right now, it's time to get him on an NBC broadcast. He can talk about a great year. So
I agree. All right, let's grab a couple quick comments well, Heather's buddy has also thrown out a whole bunch of questions, so we'll try to get to those as we go.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Let's see. What's up, y'all? And Carol, how are you gonna have two people who are guests and say, "Is this gonna be boring?"
I saw that
Leave
too.
the room, Carol.
I saw that too. I was like, well, but hey, Carol is speaking her mind. Respect that.
Define boring. I mean, don't act brand new here. Like none of us are boring.
Yeah. So, what's up, Lady Alpha? Good
Lady
evening
Alpha,
to
good evening.
you.
Thank you for joining us.
I think this must be about the shirt, and I absolutely would because
Yes, he would.
of the way Rodg has treated his victory. So,
Yes.
Big Mike, what's up, Mike? How are you
Happy Big
doing?
Mike.
And that's it. Two mics in the house. Yup. Mafia members, what's up? Let's go. All right. So you're getting a little early support there, Shane. Although some of these people in the chat. Oh, and then Outbound. What's up? So, all right, Shane. We'll start with your game. Just to recap how we kind of got here. I guess the first question: did that game play out like you thought it would?
for me, it did. I thought that it was going to be a close game, and actually, if anything, Heather's Buckeyes showed exactly how you play Penn State in these situations. You let them kind of come back and make the mistake. Tyler Warren for them played outstanding. Notre Dame luckily has had quite a few quality tight ends on their team in the years past, so they played him as well as I think you could. I thought Penn State in the early going ran the ball a lot better than I expected them to, and then Notre Dame pulled it together. I think it was going to be tight no matter what. Notre Dame doesn't really have an offense with Jeremiah Love kind of being injured at best, but severely injured probably is closest to what it is. And so they don't have a lot of breakout athletes to score points and put it up on the board. So I thought it was going to be a tight game, but I trusted that Notre Dame would be able to pull it off in the end.
Heather, you agree? Is that how you thought it would play out?
Yeah, just seeing, being, Big Ten and seeing Penn State play all year. And, let's be fair, Notre Dame doesn't exactly.
Whoa. Why are we being fair?
Okay.
Not
being fair. Notre Dame doesn't exactly have an explosive offense either. So the score was actually a lot higher than what I thought it was going to be. And neither team really woke up until the fourth quarter. So, that's exactly how I thought that the game was going to go. And I had Notre Dame winning from the beginning. From when they announced, the brackets, I had Notre Dame, Ohio State in my finals. So Penn State arguably had the easiest path, which I don't think helped them against a stout Notre Dame defense.
Yeah.
And Rod, you had something to say about the way that fourth quarter came out, huh?
Yeah. I was about to say the first 3 quarters of the game kind of played out like a lot of people kind of thought it was going to be somewhat of a slower game, not too much offense, but that fourth quarter just really, really set the tone for the game. And I even mentioned to her, but I think that fourth quarter made that game more exciting than the Texas-Ohio State game. Again, what happened with I know, just mentioned it was just that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
No, she's agreeing with you, I think.
Oh no, I completely agree. I completely agree with you.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I wasn't gonna tweet out that my game was a snooze fest, but it wasn't that exciting until the Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, exactly. When Jack Sawyer got the scoop and score, that's when everybody just kind of went out of their seats. But for the Notre Dame Penn State game, the first 3 quarters were a little slow. It was like 10-10, I think, in the fourth quarter. But then there was a plethora of touchdowns in that fourth quarter, which made it pretty exciting. But to everybody else's point, I picked Notre Dame to win that game as well. And obviously they'll be facing Ohio State.
And so this was like one of those. I think both teams just come in with a defensive presence, obviously, to me. But if you think the whole game was a snooze fest, I feel like you didn't watch the whole game.
Exactly.
So,
The first 3 quarters were definitely. The fourth quarter wasn't.
They definitely were. They definitely were. So, Shane, were you surprised at like how everything kind of woke up for that fourth quarter?
I was surprised. Like, I mean, gambling wise, I picked the over, so I was happy that it went the way it did. But I mean, I wouldn't have thought that the offense would have turned on that. And the big thing for me is I was prepared as someone that watches a lot of Big Ten games. I was ready for Drew Aller to make a mistake much earlier on. You know, he's continuously showed a talent, but has also put them in bad situations time and time again. So I thought that Notre Dame's defense was going to be able to pull that off. I think the injuries on the offensive line made that a tough go for them to where they had to start scoring points. I think if both those linemen come out okay, I think Notre Dame gets up and then tries to just run the clock out. And with some of those injuries and the way that Penn State started to turn up the rush, I think it became more of a scoring battle than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. We were actually on it where somebody said, I guess they predicted the over, but they also said because Drew Aller was going to throw it all over the field.
Yeah.
So,
he did.
I mean, he threw it.
Is that on the play calling though? Because they only had 12 pass attempts for like 129 yards and interception. So is that on play calling? Because they really didn't pass the ball that much, and then all his passes were completed to pretty much everybody except for his wide receivers. So
0 wide receiver catches, Rod. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. That's crazy.
I don't think I have either.
Penn State does have a weak wide receiver core, though, and they have a very, very good tight end. They have a very good tight end, so that's been the Drew Aller all year, and I think it was very wise of him to come back to make that decision and come back for 1 year, because he's not, unless he's being drafted to the Browns, he's not NFL because he could be bad on the Browns.
It'll be
Would you guys take him?
No. No, but we would take him. That's what I'm saying. We wouldn't want him as fans, but the organization would take him.
Heather would not, but there is a GM sitting there waiting to put number name 32 on the back of that jersey of failed starting quarterbacks for the Browns.
Absolutely. Andrew Berry was salivating, hoping that he declared.
Wow.
And it'll be interesting to see Penn State's offense next year with Aller, because their tight end declared for the draft, I think either today or yesterday, and their leading wide receiver is either in the portal or declared for the draft as well. So both their
running backs are coming back though, because they said they have unfinished business. So, and I think that's where Penn State's strength is. Their running game. It's definitely not their passing game. So maybe that's a good thing. They can go out and they can get somebody out of the portal, because it's like free agency now. Yep. They can get a decent wide receiver for Aller out of the portal, because they need one.
Yeah. And I would say too on that end, like Andy Kidalicki, the offensive coordinator for Penn State, kind of got his bones at Kansas. Obviously not with strong wide receivers or anything else like that. He used a lot of 2 quarterback sets, tight ends, moving things around. And, that's what Penn State did again there. I couldn't believe it, because you just would have thought that at some point, even by mistake, Aller would have thrown the ball to somebody as a wide receiver.
That's what I think. Like, just on accident.
Like it happens on accident.
Exactly. I mean, there's no way that Al Golden went to that defensive meeting the night before and went, guys, he's not going to throw it to anybody on the wide side. Like, I don't care if their number is in the 80s, not catching the ball. We don't need to cover them. Don't worry about it. So,
do you think it was game plan though? Because Notre Dame has such a strong secondary, they have really good safeties, they have really good corners. Do you think it was part of their game plan?
I think it was. I think Golden, especially in the second half, he started to really push the corners and the safeties out, which opened up the middle again for Warren and some of those backs, but cut down the opportunity for you to hit anybody deep and on the outside. So like you said, I think that's a great call, Heather. I think it definitely was a matchup. But you also think, like, from Penn State side, if you saw that at some point, I probably would have tried to get a wide receiver under. You would have ran somebody across the middle just to try to get something out from underneath that, because Notre Dame has had a ton of injuries on the defensive line. They don't get a great pass rush because they just don't have anybody left that's not injured. So, I mean, I would have thrown a lot more screens than they did. That would have been the big goal for me. I would have thrown the ball underneath and tried to get one of my faster wide receivers underneath.
Well, and it worked a little bit early in that first quarter. Penn State was throwing some screens because I was on a podcast and we were talking about it. I'm like, there's a missed tackle. There's a missed tackle. Yeah. So the screens were working, but I think that sometimes playing scared like that is bad. Challenge those corners. See if you can get them into interference situations. And if you get burned, and you move on to the next play. I think that's they played scared a little bit, it looked like. Especially,
Heather, if you think about how the officiating went, if a Notre Dame defender got within 15 inches of a wide receiver, they were going to get a pass interference.
They were going to call. Yeah,
I would have thrown the ball deep and up as many times as possible and take those, take that yardage as I could get it.
Well, and then on the same token, if you're Notre Dame, sometimes you're going to take those pass interference calls on a really deep ball because the pass interference rule is stupid in college, and you're only going to get 15 yards and you reset. You're not going to give up that touchdown, that you're not going to get burned, not going to give up that touchdown, 15 yards and reset.
That's what I said Oregon's strategy should have been against Jeremiah Smith in that game. I'm just tackling you at the line.
They just left him open. They just decided to leave him open.
I definitely would have mugged him over just letting him run wild.
Yeah. Right. Well, look at what Texas did.
Yeah.
All right. Brian did say what's up to everybody.
Good evening, Brian. Thank you for joining us.
Brian's. I hope this is Brian's. I didn't have a chance to.
Hello. Herb N Rodg, you guys needed a video. Well, here you are from your favorite Sooner fan. Boomer Sooner, everybody. So my prediction, I said it last week. I think Ohio State has what it takes to go all the way and win it all. And so they just seem like the more complete team. However, this is going to be closer than people think. I don't think a lot of people thought the Ohio State-Texas game was going to be close. It did, in fact, end up being close, real close. It really depends on which Will Howard shows up. We saw a glimpse of Kansas State Will Howard, and it was close. Texas almost got him. So in this game, Notre Dame's defense is going to hold strong against them, and they'll keep them close. I do, however, think that Ohio State ends up pulling this out. Too powerful, on the wide receiver. Their defense is strong. Notre Dame's offense isn't enough, I don't think, to beat Ohio State. So that's my prediction.
I couldn't tell from
Go ahead, Ross.
The beginning of the video, I couldn't tell if Brian was. I saw the video earlier, but if I hadn't watched it earlier, I couldn't tell if Brian would give us the most depressing news or if he was going to.
Hey guys, it's your favorite Sooner fan.
Yeah.
I want to know how Air Raid feels about that. If he's our favorite Sooner fan. So let's get a couple of the questions out of the way real quick before we go. So this one I thought was we'll save that one for the national chat. We'll save that for national. So this is not your granddad's. This is your granddad. I think maybe he said not your granddad's national title team. So
okay.
Air Raid giving you some stats too as well.
6-0 is our largest margin, 18. I can see that changing. I see Ohio State going 7-0.
I think the Ohio State is 6-0 in the last 8 games. I think we're 6-2 all time. The first two were. I have this stat. It's like really, really old. It was like 1935. It was 1935 and 1936. Notre Dame won the first 2 matchups, and then we didn't play again until 1995. And we met a couple of times in the regular season, a couple of bowl games, the Fiesta Bowl, I think 3 times. But this is a different Notre Dame team. It's a different coached team. Yeah. I think everybody has Ohio State winning, but I don't know. In these games,
you're like me. You still got to play the game.
Right? Yeah, and anything can happen in one game. You never know.
Yeah.
He said it's actually 40 QB.
He's not wrong. Ethan is my suffering Browns fan.
What pick do the Browns have right now?
And you got your good evening.
Second.
Mm-hmm.
You said what did pick of the
because I know
whose career will we ruin?
I use the Browns and I think the Giants after that. I forget.
We're gonna because the Giants won against the Colts, which
oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah,
we actually talked to a Giants fan about that game. Like, are you happy or okay? And
no, I think they were mad. I think they were already mad about it because they moved him down in the draft.
Shay can attest. He gave a 5-minute answer at the end. We were like, I don't know if you're happy or not. Like, I know it was the most political answer.
That was the greatest filibuster out of Yusuf I've ever heard. He talked 10 minutes about how he wasn't angry about the Giants, but every statement that he made proved that he was angry about the Giants. So it was great.
Yeah.
As a Patriots fan, I totally get it because we one-upped them to really throw away a draft pick. I think we made a good hire, just to really play off the Ohio State with a former Buckeye and Vrabel. But, yeah, I mean, some of our NFL teams are not looking great. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. We'll probably have a little bit of time at the end so you guys can kind of vent about your teams. But Air Raid, there's a favorite Sooner fan yet, but I know they both are happy Texas is not around anymore. So, and Notre Dame being coached by a former Buckeye.
I think that the Ohio State connection is deep in this game. It's deep in this game. So it's personal, I think, for a lot of people. Not that it isn't. Not that sports aren't personal anyway. I already told you. I mean, you guys saw, like, I busted out the fire. Like, I'm ready.
For the game, yes. Are you going to be well, you said you might have some activities this weekend. Are you still going to be okay for Monday?
No, I'm not going to be okay. I'm definitely not going to be. I'll be okay because I will be synthetically okay, but I'm not going to be okay. I take it personally. I don't do well with this stuff. Oh, Ethan with the Brady Quinn sister might be wearing the half jersey. I remember that because they showed her a lot because AJ Hawk sacked Brady Quinn quite a bit that game. Yeah.
Harry, to answer your question real quick, I'm going with you. We met you in person, and you're a lot bigger than we realized. So, I think you grab each one of us in one arm, and that'd be it for us.
Yeah, I'd be last. I would let y'all win. So
you wouldn't have to let us. How's that shirt working out for you, buddy?
Tight. You bought this is a large, but it's like super snug. But I mean, it's still funny. I opened it up, I just busted out laughing.
Is it snug in the belly area more than anything else?
No, I'm good down here. Everything's good. Yeah.
Okay. Heather, there's a question for you.
No, I cannot confirm nor deny that. It is part of my NDA. It is I'm not allowed to. It's my non-disclosure. So you're just gonna have to wait and see. You're just gonna have to watch the game and see.
The fact that you signed an NDA means that you're doing it, though, right? nobody signs an NDA.
I can't talk about it. You know how much they should let me do it. They should let me be on this. Actually, the ultimate dream job is to be team mom. That's what I want. I want to be team mom. I am old enough to be their mothers. I would make sure they stayed hydrated and they had nutritious snacks. Like, I'd be the best team mom ever.
She'd be bringing the little orange peels at halftime, like we do when we play soccer and stuff. Here you go,
and like the little cuties. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Here you go, Jeremiah. Here you
go. Get those sugary snacks out of here.
I think Ryan Day needs that more than any of the players right now.
Yes.
Ryan Day needs like sunscreen or something because his poor little face is always so red. He needs something. I feel bad. It's a high stress job though. Marcus Freeman's going to start aging here really soon if he keeps playing like this because the pressure. That's a high stress job.
Yep, I agree. Same.
I say no.
Well, how long is their NBC deal for? Like, when does that expire?
Forever. I don't think it expires.
I don't think they will. I talked about this. Herb heard me talk about this. If you're Notre Dame, why would you? I mean, I think Big Ten dropped the ball by not going after them when they had a chance. But if you're Notre Dame and NBC is going to guarantee that you get played every single week, you're going to get a ton of money. They started to do their own documentary series this year on Peacock as well. I mean, you get everything you want. You get the ACC games, which you don't have to join the conference and deal with everything, but you get all your other teams there.
And you get all the money
with the way they set up the college football playoff. If you're Notre Dame, you'd be dumb to agree to go to play a conference.
I agree too.
Yeah.
Plus, you got a home playoff game.
Yeah. What good is a conference championship right now? And it proved it. All 4 conference championship winners lost. They had to play an extra game in the championship game. They all lost. They got an extra week off, which looked like it hurt everybody except for Arizona State. And they're getting $1 gazillion. There is zero reason for them to join a conference. I mean, I can see why they do it in basketball because you have to. You want to make it into the tournament. But for college football, it makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
I wonder how James Franklin feels about him mentioning that during the press conference before the game and then going out there and losing, because it looked like Marcus Freeman wanted to say something during the conference, but he held his composure.
Yeah,
he should have, and I agree he should have.
Because Franklin's one of those guys that takes these shots when he knows that the other person won't respond.
Wow.
He's done it all the time in the Big Ten, and if you're the coach that you want to talk about your struggle, you were. An okay coach at Vanderbilt that got lucky that Penn State had to make a decision and they moved you up. And then now as the coach at Penn State, you've been just good enough to get beat by the good teams. That's
and someone
asked
asked
taking shots at people for ducking games if you're playing at Penn State.
Yeah. And what is he 1-18 now in what top 10 games, top whatever? Like it's time to have a serious
that for years in the Big Ten. You didn't have to play everybody in conference either. No. So, I mean, you had that protection. There were years where you got to be the team that played Purdue and Northwestern and didn't have to play Ohio State. So,
but no, they were on the same side as Ohio State and Michigan, though, right? Or at
exactly.
Least
so your league has built yourself that way too. Franklin has never been, one of my top coaches. I think that he's always going to be in this spot. And I think that's Marcus Freeman to a toe, though. Like, he's going to sit there and he'll take that, and he's not going to make comments about it. It's the same thing. I mean, Brian Kelly, if you're Brian Kelly, you take a shot at Notre Dame saying, I want to go to LSU and win a championship. I think Notre Dame's pretty okay with Brian Kelly sitting at LSU, having to put $1 million for them to try to buy a quarterback that's going to do nothing for him for the next 3 years. So,
Well, and James Franklin, someone asked me yesterday, we were talking about it, do we think that he gets fired this year? And I said no, because what else does the guy have to do to get fired? He's arguably done everything that he's supposed to get fired. Yeah. And they won't let him go. It just seems like Penn State is okay with mediocrity.
Yeah. And well, the problem is making the playoff. Like, now you're like, hey, now this is
there's 12 teams. Yeah.
But so to the outside us, we say it's not progress. We did our breakdown at the beginning of the year. We said Penn State was going to make the playoff because I was like, they're going to lose one game, they'll lose to Ohio State, they'll beat everybody else they're supposed to, and they'll be in. Now they kind of backed into the into the Big Ten championship game, but you lost to every good team, and that's just what Penn State is that at this point.
That's what they do. That's their identity. That is their identity.
What's up, Bo? Good to see you. Oh, and I forgot our Texas fan was also in here for a quick second. He gave us his horns up, and then
I missed Garrick. I missed it.
Yeah, Garrick. Yeah, what's up?
Okay. Appreciate
every
you,
week we get Bo. And he usually says that. Then he usually insults Alabama one time and leaves, and that's our tradition on this show. So that's
classic Texas.
Yeah, Kansas are built to buy the other people. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the other game. This game was funny to me because I'm watching it and Ohio State just looks like they're kind of dominating, right? And then you have this they're on their second drive, little scuffle, little Donnybrook almost breaks out with Henderson taking like a wild swing, and then all of a sudden that drive was done, and then like the next two drives, penalties, and all of a sudden we still have a game. Like what? That was just a weird start for me, Heather. What did you think?
Yeah, and that was one of the things that I think a lot of people had agreed that if Ohio State lost, it was because they were beating themselves, and that's what they were doing. It was very uncharacteristic, the penalties, and it was very uncharacteristic of Travion Henderson. I don't think the guy's ever been flagged for like anything in his life.
He was very apologetic on the sideline.
He was, and then he made up for it, at the last play of the second half,
which was crazy too. But yeah,
none of us saw that. I'm not gonna lie, I was sulking. I was sulking hard, but I think that Ohio State was beating themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, did I think it was going to be a blowout? No, because they were only 5.5-point favorites anyway. Yeah. And they usually get that stuff right, or they're pretty close to it. So I didn't think I knew Texas's defense was good, but I didn't see them shutting down Jeremiah Smith the way that they did. Now, it was nice to see Carnell Tate get involved in the offense because Jeremiah Smith was so covered, but there were a lot of uncharacteristic drops too. Passes that were going straight through their hands. I think Emeka had a couple. Yeah. I know Jeremiah Smith had like one or two. So we just looked off for some reason, and that defense wins championships. It's so cliche, but look, I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So
So
it was
did you
it was weird. It was a really weird
Yeah,
game.
It was. Shane, do you see it the same way you think Ohio State was about to take control earlier, or did you always think Texas was going to come back?
No, I think like Heather said, the thing that gets me though, and I think this has been the weakness of Ohio State. If you take a look at the Michigan game, you take a look at the same thing as Texas. Ohio State starts off well. Chip Kelly and Ryan Day think that they've figured everything out. And instead of making some different moves, they'll go back to it. Like Heather said, I think if that second series, if the Henderson foul doesn't happen and it doesn't slow down, I think they could have opened this game up like they did against Oregon.
Oh yeah, we would have scored. We were driving. We're driving. We had all the momentum, but that.
So I mean, that's what I always worry about. The other thing that gets me in these situations, and I think it's going to become something that happens a lot with the portal, is I thought Will Howard was okay at Kansas State. He never would have been a move that I thought Ohio State was going to make, but I don't think there's a guy. And normally it's your quarterback that the offense rallies around at Ohio State. Like you have Jackson, you have Sawyer on the defense. Like, am I surprised that he's the one that comes up with the winning play on defense? Not at all. You know, that's how you script it. That's how you expect your big players to play. I think that Ohio State offensively holds their breath that Will Howard doesn't make a big mistake. And I think that that's, like when these type of breakdowns, he's not a quarterback that gets in the huddle, settles everyone back down again and goes, guys, I don't know if you've noticed, but every one of us is a 5-star. We're going to be okay. We can make plays. We're going to score points. Don't worry about it. And the same thing I saw that happened in that Michigan game. When Michigan stayed with them and Ohio State made issues, you couldn't come back on that same situation.
No, that game was interesting though. The Michigan game was interesting in the fact that we literally forgot what a forward pass was. Mm-hmm. We just didn't know how to pass the ball. We didn't know how to call a pass play. We didn't actually know how to complete a pass. But hindsight is 2020, right? How good was that for us looking back now? Because you can't tell me that we would have come out with that playbook that we did against Tennessee had we not crap the bed as badly as we did. I can't swear. So I think that, you know, at the time it was very hurtful. It was very harmful. Nobody was really rallying in that Michigan game. I think everybody was just kind of, even the defense as well as they played. It didn't feel like we had that leader. It didn't feel like we had that person that was trying to get everybody fired up, where you had that at Tennessee, you had that at Oregon, you had that at Texas, you had that fire. We didn't play like that against Michigan. But we played like that, and we've played with fire. I say we like I'm out there.
We say we too.
Team mom.
Okay, okay. It's always Rich when I'm like, oh God, I look at that missed tackle while I'm eating Cheetos on my couch, drinking Fireball.
I'm down with you. Oh, by the way, roll tide to Whitwill. Happy to see you, sir.
Shout out to Whitwill. We appreciate you,
as always. Yes, sir. No, I get it, and I think part of it is a byproduct of just today's game. It's kind of like what he said, when your quarterback is a transfer and you've got a lot of transfers in. Sometimes the leadership is something that does kind of slip by because everyone is still getting to know each other. So I did have to push back on one thing that Shane said, though. I didn't feel like for most of the year Ohio State started off strong. I felt like they started out flat so many times. And I feel like the biggest thing that's been holding them back is coaching. And I think that's what lost them the Michigan game. And it's like, you know, Shane said, they kind of decided to do other, you know, I don't know, figure it out, do whatever. And that's what got you past Tennessee and Oregon and stuff like that. So
I think Chip Kelly's problem has been the same at every stop he's had. He wants you to know that he's really smart and he has great offensive techniques and this is what's going to happen. And instead of going, wow, that didn't work at all, maybe I got to change something up, he will stick to that playbook regardless of how it's working for him. You look at it, the last time it worked, and it's funny because Ryan Day was his quarterback at the time, it was New Hampshire. When he was in Oregon, he lost big games because they didn't play well when it came time for them to win. UCLA was abysmal with what they've did there. There's an awful lot of professional players in Philadelphia that don't have anything great to say about Brian Kelly in any way. So, I mean,
Chip
Kelly. I mean, look at I'm taking shots at Brian Kelly no matter what. So, but with Chip Kelly, I think, you know, in the opposite way where I think Notre Dame, when the chips go down, those players look to Marcus Freeman and whatever. If he tells them we're down by 60 and we have a chance, I literally think those guys are going to buy in and they'll keep fighting for him. I think on Ohio State, they look at Ryan Day, and I don't think they have that same look. I don't think they have the same passion for him. And I mean, not to take a shot at Ohio State quarterbacks, but I mean, Kyle McCord goes to Syracuse. I see them all the time. They're a couple hours south of me, but he played great for them. Passing offense that I'm sure that there's a lot of wide receivers at Ohio State would have loved to happen. I mean, there's a whole lot that played out with Kyle McCord, but it's the thing that you see now where you make a decision in the portal on who your quarterback's going to be. And like I said, Will Howard would not have been the one I had gone after.
I'll be honest. I know you about to say something, Heather. I was surprised too, given how the other high profile talent they had assembled around them, that Howard is kind of where they I won't say settled because he is getting them a championship game, but I was surprised. What are you gonna say, Rod, before we turn?
No, same thing. I was just thinking about how he played at Kansas State, and I wasn't really too high on him at the beginning of the season, but he had surrounded by a bunch of great weapons and just played really, really well this season. Had some really, really accurate passes, and I mean, this season was huge for Will Howard. I don't know if he's gonna, of course, declare for the draft after the Natty or whatever the case may be. I don't even know if he has any more.
He is. Yeah, he's a fifth year. He has to, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this season was huge for him. I feel like if he had stayed at Kansas State another year, he'd be maybe mid 4th, 5th round pick, but he had a huge,
at best, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be
Go
the
ahead,
backup.
Heather. I know
Johnson already had that spot. Will Howard, I think, got out of Kansas State because he knew that the athletic side was what was going to push Kansas State. And like you said, Raja, I mean, I thought he's played better at Ohio State than I thought he was going to this year, but he's still not the guy I put to lead my team.
See, and I have a different perspective from it because I guess I've watched every snap, every down. I've been to games and I've seen them on the sidelines, and the players actually do really respond well to Will Howard. They seem to really like Will Howard. To me, is one of those players where he's on your team. You kind of love the guy because he's really cocky. He talks a lot.
You saw a lot of that before Texas.
I feel like you need that if you're going to be a leader. You got to have some sort of cockiness in you.
Yeah. So having him on our team, you kind of love the guy. I'm watching him. I'm like, this guy's kind of let's stomp them. But I didn't know a ton about him when they picked him up from the portal. So I looked at him. I loved his size. I loved his arm strength. And I love the fact that he could run. We hadn't had a running quarterback since Justin Fields. I mean, RIP to Taskins and in CJ Stroud. They've struggled running the ball. So it was nice to see that we picked up a quarterback that maybe could get out of trouble with his legs. Right. I think that Will Howard I think he was the right choice because really who else did we have? You'd mentioned Kyle McCord. And I will preface this with the fact that I didn't hate him. I don't blame him for leaving. I actually wished him well, but he was not cut out for an Ohio State kind of offense. He did well because he wasn't playing against elite defenses. And that's where he got into trouble when he played for Ohio State.
The ACC is not elite defenses?
No. That's a whole other podcast, right? We can talk about that all day long. But that just was not – he just wasn't cut out for the style of offense that Ohio State was running, and he was never able to adapt. So I like the Will Howard pickup. I wasn't sure at first. I was indifferent. I'm like, okay, I don't know enough about this guy. After seeing him on the field, on the sideline, he really is a leader, and they really do respond to him. But he's more of an in-your-face – let's go kind of guy, whereas you have like your Jack Sawyers, your JTTs, your Cody Simons, who are going to be like uplifting and they're going to empower you and motivate you, or Will Howard's going to get in your face and scream at you. So you have those two different styles of leader. So I do think that Will Howard is a leader.
Yeah.
So question, Heather, who's going to be the starting QB next year?
Julian Sand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Had you been paying attention yesterday, she told you that, Rodg.
I listen.
There was a lot. I say, in all fairness, I say a lot.
Yeah.
So.
In all fairness, we don't do fair. We don't do nice
no,
around here.
I'm a pragmatist, so I am going with Stan.
Right.
Couple quick comments on there. Heather, as a thank you from the the resident Sooner fan. Pretty soon, the two Sooner fans are going to start fighting over this. So
Yeah.
And Air Raid, I forgot Air Raid Mike, another Mike. Which, by the way, since we're
Big
talking
Mike.
about mics, yeah, well, we've got a chance to at least get another score prediction.
Go
Your
ahead.
Notre Dame Fighting Irish are going to win the national championship. They will beat the Ohio State Buckeyes 21-17. Let's go, Irish!
Our buddies from the Cinco Squad who joined us last week to
Shout
break
out to
down
the
their
Cinco
games. What? Oh yeah, shout out to Cinco Squad. We've got an Ohio State one for you there, Heather. We'll
I
play
know,
that
I
one in a
appreciate
minute,
it.
so. Let's see what else.
Yeah, and there was
McCord was
a
not a good
comment.
fit. Yeah.
No, yeah, McCord.
Go ahead.
was
No,
like-
which one?
But he had made the comment about how the guys respond to Ryan Day. They do. They love the guy. Everybody loves Ryan Day. I think that Chip Kelly, I'm not sure. You never hear much about Chip Kelly, but you hear about Ryan Day and you hear about Jim Knowles and you hear about Brian Hartline. So they're solid. They're connected. These guys seem like they're really connected. It does remind me of that 2014 national title team with how close these guys are, at least so publicly close.
My question about them responding well to him, and keep in mind, like everything that we say, we get SEC down here. We can tell you way more about SEC teams than we can about. Most
Well, that's why I wanted to. That's why
Yeah.
I do love watching your guys' show because it's so informative. I don't get to see. I get to see the nationally televised SEC games. I don't get to see those other ones.
The
Yeah,
crappy games. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the cause of the slow start? Because we've been sitting here talking about coaching. What really? If you're not going to put it on coaching, or is this?
No, it's definitely on coaching.
Okay.
The guys respond to him. It was just terrible. It was terrible conservative football. We weren't doing what we're good at, and we were trying so hard to establish toughness, to establish that line of scrimmage, to have a great run game. That's not our identity. We are a pass first team, and that opens up the run.
No.
So.
We
Nothing happened in the field.
Yeah. And what's up, Charmaine? Charmaine's a Bama fan. She's been with us for a while, and it is.
After that loss to Michigan, we just been sitting here like, man, when is 2025 going to start? Goodness gracious! So we're patiently waiting.
You guys were. I don't know if you listened all the way to the end. You guys were actually one of the teams that I predicted could be a dark horse next year because DeBoer is going to get some of his guys in there, and you're going to get a quarterback that fits his offense.
Herb and I started talking about that, and I even mentioned it to him when we after we left Norman. Well, actually, the night we were walking out of the stadium in Norman.
I don't remember being in Norman. I know. I put that
I was messaging you guys. Yes, yeah, you were. I'm like, oh, I felt that was
as we were leaving the stadium. I told her, I was like,
man,
I cannot wait to see our offense next year. That was my quote verbatim because I just cannot wait to see what DeBoer. To your point, DeBoer is going to do with his quarterback. I just feel like if we can get a quarterback in there that can distribute the ball much more than Jalen Milroe did, then I think we're going to be just fine. And then, of course, we got a whole bunch of returning defenders, so we'll be fine.
Yeah. Milroe just looked off all year. He's flashed brilliant. He just never adjusted. There was never, ever any good chemistry. So he just wasn't the guy. He's a good quarterback.
We agree wholeheartedly, and we prior to the season, the thing with us was that we just thought that we were hoping that we would see Milroe progress. And for the first 4 games after the Georgia game, everything was fine. But then Vanderbilt and thereon, he plateaued or just really sunk. So it just didn't get any better for him. Wish him all the well. I think he'll have a good combine, get drafted somewhere. We'll see what happens. But things didn't pan out the way we wanted it to. So it is what it is.
All right. We do need to start talking about the game, and you guys have some questions that we've kept up that we'll play at the end there. So Shane, we'll start with you. I don't know if I want to ask my fun question first. If you could bring back 2 Notre Dame people for this game, 1 offense, 1 defense, who would you bring? Where would you need to attack at? So,
I mean, if you're going like to bring back a championship Notre Dame team, I mean, I think you'd love to have like Tony Rice running the ball as a quarterback, and I think you'd love to have a defensive lineman like Chris Zordich if you're going like 88. If we're going like, hey, let's go back to when we actually won a championship, that's the run. I think if you're Notre Dame right now, the biggest thing for them is, will this offensive line that's been shuffled around after injuries hold up? I think Notre Dame is hoping for some, wide receivers getting open. You get a quick hit, hopefully Love has some time to get around. But like I said, I mean, I'd be looking for, you need Rock. Like you said, that's if you're going way back, those are the guys I'm looking. You know, Rock. They'd love to have Ricky Waters. They'd love to have everybody on that 88 team. But I mean, the thing for them is the injuries are piling up, especially, you know, I talked about the offensive line. I think they have a quality backups there. The thing that I see is the injuries on the defensive line, for as well as this defensive played, has really affected them. The pass rush is not really jumping out to them. Golden's having to use a lot of linebackers and move people around to try to get some push. And if Ohio State can stand up to that, I think that's their path to being able to win the game. Is like Heather's mentioned. I mean, if they remember what they're doing, the thing for them is, as long as Ryan Day doesn't get hurt by Lou Holtz saying that they're not tough and try to prove that you're tough, I think that's the thing. Heather really hit it out of the park on that. I think that's the thing. When you try to display to other people how you are as opposed to just doing what you do well, that's where you get into trouble. And I think Notre Dame's they're gonna hang their hat on their defense. So.
So what do you think? Like, what has to happen? I mean, this kind of reading what you're saying, that this needs to be a low scoring game, I guess, for Notre Dame to stay in this one.
Yeah, I mean, on my end, I think, and Notre Dame's special teams have helped them as of late. I think that's where a play needs to happen for them. I think Notre Dame needs to pull something, getting points either from a turnover on defense or from special teams. I think Riley Leonard is going to be much more of a runner. I think Ohio State's ready for that, but I think that's a strong suit for him. If you're Notre Dame, you're going to try to get people open, hope that Ohio State keeps on playing the run real hard, and then you get a chance to break somebody free. But if I'm Notre Dame, I'm not expecting this to be even as much of a shootout as the Penn State game is, because Ohio State will be able to slow the ball down. They'll be able to keep on the run game. They'll be able to get people open. So I think if you're Notre Dame, you have to steal this game. As much as I want them to win, I'm a realist. And so, you need to play to your strengths and eliminate and hope that Ohio State plays against what they know they can do.
Yeah. And Heather, so this is one that I'd starred from earlier. This game is a wash with talent. I just totally disagree. I feel like, and that's no disrespect to Notre Dame, but I just feel like Ohio State's the most talented team in the country. Mm-hmm. So we're not giving you a player from offensive defense from the past. You just get to run with what you have. But
wait a minute, but I want Malcolm Jenkins and I want Orlando Pace. That's not fair.
Ooh, Orlando Pace, yeah, that's
big boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the wide receivers covered. We need the big boy lineman back.
There you go. There you go. But I mean, honestly, it's kind of like everybody's saying. It feels like if Ohio State plays their game, that this is a game they should win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Ohio State's.
You're a cautious fan, huh? You're like, wait a minute, hold on, don't.
No. I don't know if Ohio State's going to play their game that we're used to seeing. I feel like Ohio State is going to try to control the clock, maybe at least start and wear that defense down, because we do have a lot of depth. And Notre Dame is hurt right now. There's quite a bit of injuries. Now, I'm not taking away from Notre Dame's defense. They are very, very, very good. I said it at the beginning. They have very good safeties. They have very good corners. Their secondary is just good. But I can see because some of those drives that we had against Texas were long, sustained drives. We weren't throwing those bombs. I can see us doing something like that. Maybe throwing those, 10, 15-yard passes, and then, Quinshon or Trey, giving them the ball and just trying to wear that Notre Dame defense down, because that's what you have to do. You have to keep them on the field as long as you possibly can, and don't give them that time to rotate out. Because our defense, I do think, we're not going to hold Notre Dame score. You never do, especially at this level. But I do not think that Notre Dame has the offensive power to just run up on us.
Yeah. Rod, do you agree a game in the 20s or like 10s to 20s is Notre Dame, and a game in like the 30s is clearly Ohio State?
Ohio State, yeah, I agree. And I just feel like, I guess after that Michigan loss, I think, especially coming into the playoffs, Ohio State, I don't know if they had a big team meeting or whatever, but they just developed some sort of confluence between their offense and their defense, and everything is just coming together at the right time. And obviously they blew out Tennessee. winning all their playoff games. Everything is coming together at the right time again. And to Heather's point, no disrespect, Shane, I just don't know if Notre Dame can keep up with them. I feel like if Notre Dame gets down by 7 or 10 points, there's just going to be no coming back from that because of all the firepower that Ohio State has on offense. So, and to that point, and just a quick question for both Shane and Heather, do you guys think Jeremiah Smith has a rebound game in the Natty? Because he, obviously he wasn't really targeted too many times in the previous game because he was the way the defense was being played. So, do you guys think Jeremiah Smith has a big game?
I do not. I think he has more than a catch for 5 yards, but I don't think you're going to see an Oregon-Tennessee game. I don't know if you looked at the Tennessee defense, they were triangulating him. They had 3 guys ready to pounce. Texas, I'm sorry. Yeah. They had 3 guys ready to pounce.
We're old. I remember back to the Tennessee game.
Yeah. No, I can't. Tennessee didn't cover. Tennessee and Oregon didn't have defense. The Texas, yeah. But they were triangulating him. They had 3 guys on him at any moment. Out here. So, I mean, I like, AJ Hawk, but I need a corner. That's where we struggle, and I need me a big old lineman.
Yeah. So like on the D line and the linebackers, they're covered pretty much there. So
yeah, we've got a solid front 5, front 7. We don't need the linebacker. We need a secondary because Igbenogson, he gets a little handsy.
Yeah.
And Denzel Burke gets a little burnt sometimes.
Yeah,
so
he's like an all or nothing kind of guy. It's like shut down or I've tackled a guy for no reason. Like
but Denzel Burke only played. I can't remember what the stat was exactly, but Denzel Burke played like 28 snaps to Jermaine Matthews. They put him in for like 42 snaps, and we were able to shut down Texas. So I do think that maybe mixing it up a little bit. Burke, boy, what a backslide he had this year because his draft stock was high.
That's what I was going to say. Didn't he start off like a first rounder?
Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, he's just not had a great year this year.
All right, there's a couple of questions we're going to get to on here, and then the questions of death. But we'll start off with everybody's score predictions, and then I've started a couple of questions that people asked, so we'll try and get through those first two. So Shane, we'll start with you. What do you got as your score prediction?
So I think actually,
you got some support here.
I think it's one of the ones that's already been mentioned. I think it's 21 for Notre Dame, and I think you got to keep it either in that 17 run or somewhere around there. I think Notre Dame trusts in their special team, so if it has to come close, they'll give them another shot. But like you guys already mentioned, and Heather agreed with Rodg, I think if you get into the 30s, that's the danger zone for Notre Dame. I don't think you want the game to be played that way, and I don't know if you have the firepower to play a game at that level.
Yeah, Charmaine, too soon.
Cardell, that actually it wasn't Cardell that shifted the momentum. It was Evan Spencer. I always want to call him Evan Turner because he played for Ohio State too. Evan Spencer threw that dime pass. Yeah, exactly.
We'll take it though, right?
But Evan Spencer passed that dime to Michael Thomas. He just barely got that, and it was in the first half.
When I tell you I don't remember a single thing from that game other than breaking through the line, I don't remember. There's a lot of games that I have put out.
Bottom line is, if we lost, we just don't remember these.
No, and I'm not the same though.
Up here.
Yeah, I remember the losses, but I may have watched that game 1 or 1,000 times.
There you go. Yeah, like ask me about a good win that we had. I'm like, I was up till 2:00 in the morning watching that.
Yeah, exactly. I've watched it
26. Oh yeah, I watched that.
I watched the Tennessee game again after it was over. I watched the Oregon game again after it was over. Same thing. So can't get enough.
Raj, what's your score, Raj?
All right, so I've been going back and forth throughout the podcast tonight based on what everybody's saying. So I'm going to lean with 28-14, same score as the Cotton Bowl, 28-14. I'm going to go with Ohio State. Again, I just think Ohio State gets a lead somewhere in the game. I'm going to say midway through the third quarter, they come up with a really, really big play, and they just take over from there. 28-14 Ohio State.
Yep. All right, because nobody else is supporting you, Shane, I've got your back.
No, you got to be honest. Be honest. Don't do it because Shane is
Notre Dame 20.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
20 to
come
17.
on, Herb. If you know one thing, I am not afraid to be the one loner.
No. You know why? I'm really thinking that because I'm still mad at Downs and what's his name? At Seth. So
Seth McLaughlin. He got hurt though. That poor guy.
I can't say that poor guy because how do you be that bad here and then go win an award somewhere else? Like that's
I remember some of the arguments that I was getting about when we got him. I was actually genuinely getting into arguments with people because they're like, "Ew, he's so bad. You got the worst lineman," and I'm like, "He's gonna be fine. We reason he's gonna be our starting center."
Yeah.
And there was just something, and I mean, arguing with people.
I don't know who they're talking about either. I'm with you.
Herb even knows I was hurt when we lost. I hate to mention this, but I was hurt when we lost Downs. He was one of my favorite players. And
I think everybody was.
We only had him for a year, but that kid was a stud, man.
Yeah. Like by contrast, when Bond left, I didn't care. I was like, okay, we'll be fine.
Yeah,
and Downs, I wanted to stay. So
and then the thing about Downs is people look at his interceptions this year. I'm like, he only had like 2 or 3 interceptions, but that's no sign of you being a good DB. I mean, you could be a good DB without the
especially not at his position.
And he plays at safety. He plays at safety, so they have him lined up closer, so he's not going to get those interceptions.
Look, I don't care. I hate everything that we're talking about right now.
Sorry to bring it up.
We're not going to talk about that anymore.
Yes,
I won't bring up Caleb Downs anymore. Hi, Caleb.
Raj, transfer portal. Are you the top candidate at the Colorado job once it comes open? You've been in the transfer portal this season already. So
I mentioned this on Air Raid Mike's show last night. If I'm offered the right amount of money, I got to do what I got to do. I'll take care of you, Herb. I'll help you out, but I got to take care of the family too. So what do you want me to do? Just sit here
I thought we landed on like $20. That's all it would take for you to enter the podcast.
$20? I'm not that cheap.
It probably would.
The pod transfer portal.
We'll discuss it off air, Herb.
Yeah. All right. Top draft prospect on OSU, according to you.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Top. I want to say it's going to be Emeka Egbuka just because we tend to get.
He's a very underrated athlete because of Jeremiah Smith.
No, Caleb Downs isn't. Jimmy said Caleb Downs. He's not entering the portal.
Yeah, we're reading this question as now.
He has no reason to enter the portal. He's fine.
Yeah, no. We're gonna pay him. He's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of players that are going to go in the first round. So I think we're gonna see a lot of our guys in second, third round. And I think that if they keep playing the way that they're playing, their draft stock is going to go up. Yeah. So I would say depending on who's there, it's going to be Emeka at the very bottom of the first round or early second round.
If Jeremiah Smith was coming out this year, he'd be first round.
Yeah,
I can say that.
He'd be number one. I do think that Jeremiah Smith, because he's NFL ready.
Only thing that would stop him from being number one is if the number one team needed a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
But he is
right, exactly.
He'd be the number one receiver.
And I did forget about I have my because I'm doing my pod tomorrow. I have my notes. I did forget about Josh Simmons. He's an offensive tackle. I think he's going to go mid first round. So
I always love when professional people come on here because you want to see my notes for tonight.
Yeah.
I've got 4 pages of notes, you guys.
Heather has a thesis, and we just got.
I know. We're like, I've got my State Farm thing, and there's one question for you guys on there. Like,
there's a lot that happens in my brain.
Mine says wash the dishes after the show. So.
Yeah, basically.
That's good. That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Shane, this is for you. Does Ryan Clark's son get a lot of playing time?
He has with some injuries, but Notre Dame's strength, as Heather mentioned, it has been their defensive backfield. Ben Morrison got hurt early, but Xavier Watt, they've had some talent back there, so it's not an easy breakthrough for that. I know Ryan Clark has gotten a lot of play lately for backing his son as he should, but yeah, the thing for him is his son he doesn't play the same style as his dad did. Ryan Clark was physical and downhill, and that's not the same way that his son plays. I think Notre Dame would love to have somebody like Ryan Clark right now with what they need to do, but his son has gotten playing time and has been spoken about quite a bit from Marcus Freeman.
Cool.
Yes, I agree.
Oh.
And yes, he definitely will be in a couple years.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
he will.
Yeah, he's
and there's Lady Alphas, Ohio State 31-20. Oh, we still have one last video before we get into the question. We have 2, but we're going to play this one. We end the show.
You see what that says? 2014 champs. That feels like so long ago. And I used to love this cup. That was then, this is now. Time to get the championship back. I need new merch. I need new cups. I need new everything. Buckeyes will get the championship back. The championship will return to Columbus. Buckeyes 31. Notre Dame will spot you guys 20.
Trey from the
Shout out to
Cinco
Trey from the
Squad.
Cinco
Yep.
Squad,
Appreciate
yes.
you. Appreciate you, man. All right, Rod.
Yep.
Clark's not. Yep. So time to get to the questions.
Oh yeah. This is when it
But
gets.
I got Heather's question first, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
Do I need
So-
to do another shot?
These aren't bad. They're not bad yet. They're
We'll
not
be
bad
all right.
yet.
We'll be all right.
All right. First question. If Ohio State had to redo their schedule, okay, and you had to pick someone from every conference that you would play every year, so either home or away, whatever, these are now your new rivals. You have to pick one team from the Big 12, one team from the SEC, one team from the ACC, and you got to get rid of Michigan and pick a new Big 10 team.
Oh boy.
Dang, I should have wrote this down. I can't even keep up with this.
Okay, so wait. So I have to
Well,
pick. Okay.
the way the conferences change, I'll forgive you for having to look up like who's in the Big 12, and then you get
I'm looking up who's in the Big 12. Who is in the Big 12 right now? I don't know who's in the Big 12.
Colorado,
it-
Kansas
Oklahoma
State,
State,
Oklahoma
BYU.
State,
Oklahoma. Is
BYU and
Oklahoma
call it
still
a
in the
day.
Big?
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma's the
Sorry,
SEC.
we've got Oklahoma now. Well, you can
Yeah, that's
have
what I
Oklahoma
thought.
back if you want. That's fine.
Oh,
No,
you
we
know
got-
who
we
I
gotta
would
get
play?
our
No.
revenge
I would play Arizona State because I want to play.
Gotta
Like, I
move.
think Arizona State. Yeah, but I think they're a good team. I mean, they hung against Texas, so
They did,
Arizona
they did.
State. They impressed me. So
Why are
I
you
would
picking a
really
good
go-
team? I'm picking like
Because-
Rutgers from the Big 10. Like,
Well, I want
They
to
already
play.
get
I want
Rutgers.
to. Let's be in all fairness, it's not like Arizona State they're good, but they're like unstoppable. I still think that we would beat them.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's see. Who else was
There you
there?
go,
There was
for you.
the SEC. That's tough. Do I have to pick a good? Can I say Tennessee because we stomped them?
Okay.
I already
Yeah.
know that we're gonna. No, I wouldn't want to play Alabama. I don't. Anybody in their right mind, if you're looking to make it into the playoffs, nobody wants Bama. You know, everybody jokes. They're like, "Oh, we want Bama." No, you don't, because even on their off years, they're still really good. You don't want a Bama. You don't want a Georgia. Maybe I would take a Georgia to get a little bit of revenge because it was targeted against Marvin Harrison, but that's neither here nor there. So I would pick Georgia to get some revenge. So that's
ACC.
the-
Then?
yeah, that's who I would pick, Georgia, for a revenge game. And now if I'm going for a must win, I'm sorry, I'm going to go with like maybe an Oklahoma the way it stands right now.
There you go.
So
I knew Randy was going to chime in.
Yeah, I thought Randy had left. He was
I
just
did
waiting for that
too.
one comment. He's like, He probably tuned right
yeah,
back in.
it's
and tuned right back out.
that game was we're still not over that. We're still not over that loss. So so who else do I have? Pac-12. I have to look
ACC.
up
No, there's no Pac-12 anymore.
Pac-12
There's like
gone,
the Pac-2.
Well, it's like the Pac-2. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me. The ACC, I would pick Clemson just because it never gets old seeing Dabo lose ever.
Yeah.
So I would definitely pick Clemson.
You've got Jimmy's on your side there, Shane. So who would you pick as your new rival in the Big Ten if you had to get rid of Michigan?
Oregon.
I would not.
I would pick Oregon.
Like I said, Rutgers.
Yeah, I mean, rival, or I would pick. You can't pick a rival that you're gonna stomp all over.
Yes,
So
yes, you
I
can.
would- Dan
It's kind
Lanning.
of like
and-
Rodg is my rival, and then you saw him.
No, I don't love Dan Lanning and seeing my guy get spit on. That kind of sparked a little bit of hatred. So Oregon would be our rival. Penn State, as badly as they want to be our rival, it's never going to happen.
No,
It's
I don't
never
think
gonna-
they're anybody. All right, Rod, what you got?
Shane, this is an easy one. Give me in order your top 3 Notre Dame quarterbacks of all time.
Ooh, all time?
Of all time, in order.
Yes, Kat. I want the easiest paths available.
I mean, so in my time, like the first quarterback I remember was Tony Rice, like I said, from 88 when I was real young. Notre Dame's had a time where you had high value quarterbacks, or at least everybody else thought, but they didn't pan out. Brady Quinn. So we'll put Brady Quinn on there. You'd be remiss if you didn't put Joe Montana.
Nobody wants to be remiss.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm just trying. You guys have pulled thesis. You know, you're big about the thesaurus words. I didn't want to drop a chance to just go the guy that scores points. So there we go. But I think, like I said, Brady Quinn, Joe Montana, and just as a throwout guy that I enjoyed watching. Not that he turned into anything in the pros, but Ron Paulus was one that I enjoyed when he played at Notre Dame as well. So.
Rod's like, who? Rod came the who?
Okay.
Hey, if we were going for Alabama, I would have picked Jay Barker. I mean, we can go around too. I mean, not a great human being, but he played great for some Gene Stallings teams for Alabama.
He did. He won the Natty in '92. Yep. All right.
I just realized which clip I was missing, Raj.
What now?
I'm gonna have to go find this one real quick while you're asking your next. And Carol, I see that you posted your thing. What's your official score prediction, by the way? And Raj, this is a shot at you, Raj. So every week we have a top 5 list that Raj has to give, and Raj gives every single one of his lists in no particular order. So now he makes somebody else give theirs in particular order. So that's
my name is on the podcast. I can make
Lawless over here.
Yes.
All right, Raj, what's your no, it's my question now. All right.
You, yeah.
We play a game on here called Work, Play, Live, Ditch. We're going to give you 4 names, Heather, and you have to pick if you want to work with this person the 40-hour a week. If you want to play, that's, hey, we're going out Friday night, shots of fireball, whatever.
Fireball, yeah.
Live, this person is your next door neighbor, probably captain of president of the HOA, whatever. And ditch, when they call, it goes to voicemail. So you're 4 people.
Okay. So I'm sending them straight to voicemail. Okay. Yep. Work, play, live, ditch. Okay.
Yep. All right. So you have Ryan Day,
okay,
Jim Knowles, Urban Meyer, Jim Tressel.
Oh boy. Wow, that's so unfair. Okay. I would work Ryan Day. I would live by Urban Meyer. I would play with Jim Knowles, and I would ditch Jim Tressel.
Why did Jim Tressel get let's see how we go. What did Jim Tressel do to you?
In personality, Urban Meyer is like a legend. He's the GOAT. Jim Tressel, he just seems a little boring. So I wouldn't want to. I actually met Urban Meyer, and he's super duper nice. I've actually met Jim Tressel too, but Tressel he's too old. He's boring.
Yeah. Okay. Raj, you got one for.
All right, Shane. Here you go. Sorry I had to do this to you, but I got to do it. Work, play, live, ditch. Same scenario as Heather. I'm going to give you 4 new names. Ready? Yusuf, Ben, Herb N Rodg. Work, play, live, ditch.
Ooh. So let's see here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I see sweat.
I mean, this is I don't have so are Herb and Rodg one entity here?
No, that's 2. You got 4 names.
7 people.
You got Herb, Rodg, Yusuf, and Ben.
Yes.
Okay.
All you're either co-hosts.
Separate.
Yep.
So
Shane.
I'm gonna go.
Hey, Shane, what's up, buddy?
I'm gonna go with work with Ben.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't be on any of the podcasts if Ben hadn't reached out. So we'll go with work with Ben.
Fair enough. And we are live.
Yep. Let's go party with Herb.
Yeah, baby.
We going streaking.
I'm gonna live down the street from Rodg.
Down the street. He's not even giving you the next door.
He moved
my brother already lives in Dallas, so I feel like we could make this happen.
Gotcha.
So
who are you ditching?
And I think, unfortunately for Yusuf, that puts him on my callback list. I mean, I would get to him, but it might go to voicemail first.
Okay.
Oh man.
Awesome.
I hope you're happy, Rodg, because Thursday I'm catching it for this one.
Yeah.
I know. I cannot wait.
Hey, we're gonna ask Big Mike to edit that clip out for us.
Yeah, we got you, Shane. We got you.
And we'll play that on Yusuf's show. Oh, by the way,
what's up, everybody? Big Mike here. Here with my national championship prediction. Ohio State, Notre Dame coming up next week for the national championship. As good as Notre Dame's been playing here recently, I don't think there's anybody that's going to beat Ohio State. They're just playing too good. This is what they've been preparing for all year long. So I think Ohio State takes it 31-21. The Buckeyes win the national championship. No matter what, roll Tide, everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, Heather, your last question. Thanks, Big Mike. I was trying to figure out this is what happens when you start rushing first show. Yep. All right, Heather, you're given 2 tickets to the national championship game on Monday, but at the 50-yard line. But you have to take one person off of this list: Herb or Rodg.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is so unfair because I feel like I'm not going to answer right. I feel like I'm going to get thrown off the show. Herb, I got to go with you because I've had the most interaction with you. No, it's so unfair. I'm sorry. We did a shot together. We're like bonded now.
Rodgers is catching L's this year.
I mean, me and Shane
we did a
going
shot
out
together. We're bonded.
It's okay, Rodg.
I'm the worst. I'll see myself.
Oh
out.
No, I think you're the best.
Heather, it's
great,
okay.
So. All right, last couple questions, real quick.
Heather's answer right there solidified my answer because if I go have a drink with Rodg, that means that I'm out with Heather. I get a chance to go to get a drink with Heather and Herb. Rodg,
but you didn't pick Rodg to go have a drink with.
You picked party with Herb. I'm your neighbor.
You picked party with me.
Oh, that's what I said. Yeah. I get to go have a drink with Herb and Heather. And I have you right next door, Rodg. So, I mean, once they're gone, we can talk about how Herb made terrible calls and then just commiserate until it comes time for me to be nice to Herb again.
It all comes full circle. See, but you threw him like out of the next door. You put him all the way down the street.
Yeah, I'm not your neighbor. I'm just like, you're probably like,
I don't know him. He don't go here. I don't know him.
We're gonna move to like McKinley, Rodg. So it's like you'd be down the street, but it's because it's McMansionville. It's not because we're not. We could still be next to each other. It's just there's a lot of property between us.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Rodg, the new shirt idea. Heather picked.
I'm gonna have that made.
Yep. Yeah. What was the last one? Oh, we'll play the last one first. All right, let's start with Shane. Shane, tell everybody where to find you and then what you got going on next.
Well, I mean, we'll see come Thursday, but normally you can see me on that Thursday show with Yusuf and Herb. That might not happen anymore, but we'll see. And then before we got on tonight, I was on with Ben. I imagine since I keep working with him, but that's it. I got lucky to get teamed up with you guys through some chances, and I don't have my own podcast. I don't have anything else like that. Twitter, I will run my mouth as much as possible when Herb and Rodg kind of bump me in directions. So that's the easiest place to voice your anger at me and get me to make a response.
Nah, Shane, it's a pleasure having you on.
Appreciate you,
and being on the show with Mr. U too as well. So we're lucky for having you. So it might be easier to mention where you're not at this week. It's like you've been booked on everything, right?
I've been all over lately. You can find me on X at Love Buckeyes. You can find my group of women that I partner with, Bougie Sports. You can check us out on YouTube. We don't have an X page just yet, but bougiesports.net and Bougie Sports on YouTube. And I will be doing my podcast. I do a weekly podcast for college football. It's been Wednesdays or Thursdays at 7. My times usually vary based on my guests. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow at 8:00 with Mike. I'll plug him at the Chill Mike since he's going to be doing my show.
We got to read.
Yeah, like lots of mics
at this point.
Yeah. And then I partner with Ethan, who had commented several times here. He's on Going Nuclear CLE. So you can just follow me on X at your own peril. I post a little bit, but all of my podcast stuff is always on there. I give fair warning, and I'm just thank you guys so much. I've wanted to be on your show for a long time. I've watched it. You guys are amazing. So thank you so much for inviting me.
You wanted to be on so you could ditch me, really, Heather?
I needed to do a face-to-face. I did it as an adult.
You did. I respect
send you a
that.
text. I didn't break up with you over text.
No, we in all seriousness, we appreciate you. We appreciate both of y'all for joining us. So
yeah,
awesome.
No, it's been a fun show. It's been a really, really fun show. Heather, you even had a marriage proposal somewhere.
Yeah, what was
I don't
that
know if you caught that one. I don't know.
Oh, have I get several of them. Honestly, like I get lots of crazy stuff. People say they love me. I'm like, you wouldn't if you knew me.
And Raj, Randy was asking about the transfer portal moving to January because you seem to keep getting into the transfer portal. So
I guess quick thoughts about it. I haven't really dived into that too much, but I noticed that I guess they're voting on. I don't know if the votes are completed yet, but apparently they're going to eliminate the April and December portals and just have one in January. So, I mean, I'm fine with that. I think it's kind of weird that we have so many different portals because it's hard for me to keep up with everything sometimes. And players just announce at random times. And even yesterday when Heather mentioned Jaheim Otis, remember he quit after like a couple of games, he got hurt or whatever happened to him. And then he just decided he wanted to stop playing. So it eliminates all that stuff. And if it's just one in January, it's like 10 days. That's enough time for someone to say, hey, I want to be here or I don't. The only stipulation is, I guess, once spring games come, some players, when they find out where they are on the depth chart, they may want to transfer. But
that's why I thought they would keep the spring one. That one made the most sense to me.
Yeah. So now if you fall low on the depth chart after the spring game, I mean, you're there for that season anyway. So.
Yeah, that one doesn't make much sense. So.
Yeah.
There's actually three dates for next year. There's spring and then there's December, and then they allow anybody who had a late bowl game or is in the deep college football playoff run. I think they have like 10 days in January for those particular kids to declare.
It's just hard to keep up with sometimes.
It is possible. It's talk about lawless. We could do a show about the transfer board, alone.
Yeah.
Nope. All right, last score prediction, and we're gonna get on out of here. Usually when.
Hey, Herb N Rodg. I was going to say Ohio State, but my Catholic brain is not going to let me choose against Touchdown Jesus. So I'm going 2017 Notre Dame.
Go Irish.
Okay, that was unfair because that was cute.
Yes. They usually are the
wow.
best.
Okay.
Thank you both, seriously, for coming on here and helping us put this together, especially with having to wait until right after the games and putting together so fast, man. It's been a very, very fun show.
Awesome.
Thank you to all the comments. Try to post as many of them as possible. If I missed your comment, that was my fault. There was nothing personal about it. Just there was a lot of them scrolling through tonight, so we tried to get them all. Both of y'all are always welcome on here. Feel free to invite yourselves. If we don't catch up with you soon, we always invite other teams on. We have a little series we do during the summer where we invite somebody from another team and we base an episode around there. So if we don't catch up with y'all by then, we'd love to have either one of you guys on again. Good luck to both. Yep. Carol's welcoming you in there. And thank you, Jimmy. We appreciate you, man. Jimmy was going for the Irish the whole time, so it was good that Shane. I felt like Shane needed a little backup today. So I appreciate it, man. Good luck to both of y'all.
I've got Touchdown Jesus on my side. So, I can
kind of like Catholics
easy.
and convicts.
Yes.
If Urban Meyer was still coaching, we could have said that Catholics versus convicts. But
there you go.
I mean,
that.
I will. Great comment on that too, Heather. I mean, I was a big Urban guy. And I thought Notre Dame really dropped the ball because Urban would have come running if Notre Dame had made a comment. And they never really gave him a shot. And I think they regretted it for a while. And they went for an Ohio State guy in Marcus Freeman. And I think that's one. He's played it off, but I think it will play big for this game as well.
Yeah.
All
right. And she's not saying all of Ohio State. She's saying Urban Meyer.
I'm just saying Urban Meyer's players. He had a rough go at Florida.
Yeah. All right. Everyone have a good night. We appreciate y'all. And Rod, I even appreciate you, buddy.
I appreciate you.
Everybody's either ditching you or moving you down the street. So good luck.
It is what it is. I'm used to it right now.
All right. Everybody have a good night and roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Thank you.